Hello, everybody. My name is Volker Friedrich. I'm the founder and managing director of GBP International. Today, I'd like to bring you our newsletter by this short video message, and I hope to get your feedback and any questions or points of interest by our usual communication channels. So what is happening? Obviously, 2020 so far has been dominated by the events of Corona. And obviously, this is also having impacts in our traditional markets, which are India, China, Southeast Asia. Generally speaking, we see that the Asian markets are recovering quite fast and well. Most of the manufacturing companies are continuing what they do. The problem for most European companies is that they are not allowed to travel freely and that a lot of these restrictions are in place. So we are offering our local staff, our local experts to take over on an interim assignment, things you cannot manage by Zoom or Skype or WhatsApp. And obviously everybody knows that personal interaction, personal quality checks, personal meetings are important in Asia Pacific more than anywhere else. What else is happening? We have been appointed as chair of the Foreign Trade and Investment Committee of the German Association for Foreign Trade and Investment. That's a very interesting post and position, and we are looking forward to fulfill that role. We are representing with the BWA more than 3,000 German small, medium-sized companies, and we will report to you about what is happening there. Two highlights of the last couple of weeks I'd like to present to you. One was the exclusive interview which I was able to conduct with Dr. Mahathir. How can Malaysia improve that perception and change the people's mindset about Malaysia? I'm trying to help as much as I can, but I'm only a small fly in this market. And I'm not talking about doubling or tripling the budget for MIDAR and trade shows. I think the perception that really is saddening me sometimes, you know, how poorly Malaysia is regarded in some cases. And the opposite is true. I know Malaysia for over 20 years, and I'm always very positive about it.
We need more people like you to come and stay in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Because if you stay in Malaysia, you don't realize that this is a country with almost developed country infrastructure, but the cost is 1/3. You know, so cheap. It is so cheap here. Even hotels are very, very cheap in Malaysia. But it is only 1/3 the cost of going to Singapore or to other countries. But it is not well known. It's not well known.
And I think that's an important video you can watch openly on our website or via YouTube. And everybody who understands and knows a little bit about Malaysia knows about the importance of Dr. Mahathir as a two-time Prime Minister of Malaysia. And he is really pulling the strings for the last 30, 40 years in Malaysia. And when we started in Malaysia in 1997, he was the man, so to say. And over this period of more than 20 years, it has been a very, very interesting development with all ups and downs. And we continue to follow and work in and with Malaysia in the future. The other important event was a webinar, a presentation I was invited to give to the International Association of Management Consultants in Singapore. And we have tried to put some light on the question, how is the profession of management consultancy going to adopt and change in times of Corona?
Do you want to add to that, Volker?
Yeah, I like to add the question of whether you're going to be a generalist or a specialist. And we also have that in our projects. And I myself or my team, we present us, let's say, as a general consultant for doing business in Asia, if we talk to European customers, but that's not good enough anymore. In the early days when I started, like the late 90s, knowing a little bit about Asia was kind of good enough, inverted commas, But today you can Google anything you want about economic indicators, what are the wages in Singapore compared to Malaysia. So that is not good enough anymore. So we need to have skill sets which are also specialized. And for instance, when we have, let's say, a company from last year, they are manufacturing caps and closures for bottles, for shampoo. So we need to understand their production technology, and we need to understand their market before we are able to advise them whether they should set up a factory, let's say, in Indonesia or Malaysia or Singapore. The presentation is called Management Consulting in Times of Accelerations. And I'd like to invite you to have a look at that webinar video as well. Appreciate your comments. Now, the internationalization is still the name of our business offering. So where and in which markets and how are you going to internationalize your business? And these days we often hear about Corona is also the end of globalization. And I personally don't believe that at all. And I think with Corona, we are seeing even more globalization, but we are differentiating between, let's say, fast track and cruel Manchester capitalism type of exploitation in globalization. And we see that the sustainability effort, the work ethics, the standards, and the quality of supply chain is going to play a more and more important role. And I think that's a good thing. So hopefully everybody will follow that line. And the recent boom and reports about trade with face masks and ventilators and medical gloves, this is all crazy, and it shows that some kind of regulation and some kind of independence of all the nations is quite important, but it all has to be balanced. And this is what we stand for, a balanced view, an objective view, what is feasible and what is necessary in your evaluation of your business opportunities. This is what we stand for. Now, I'd like to close my video message with the traditional recommendation for a book of the month. And today I'd like to show you this book, which is always an interesting eye-opener. It's called As a Man Thinks. You'll find it on Amazon. And it's a very small, tiny book, just 30, 40 pages. And it helps you to reflect on character, on leadership, on your position in your social network. And this is in line with our continued effort to do a little bit more in terms of leadership, in terms of business and leadership coaching, what we do to some of our selected and invited customers. So with this, I'd like to close my first video newsletter, and I hope that some of the points I mentioned are of interest. We are happy to engage on a one-to-one basis, of course, and you know how to reach us. So thank you very much. Have a good day and see you and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.